News Center 5.
I was shocked. I was frankly very shocked.
Team 5 investigates why some veterinarians have received more than a dozen complaints but are still treating animals.
And now to a Team 5 Investigates exclusive. Most pet owners here in Massachusetts get excellent care for their animals, but not all. Tonight, Team 5 Sean Kelly reveals why dozens of local veterinarians continue to practice even though they have a long history of complaints.
Clover is like a family member to Wendy Moore.
Another one?
So she immediately noticed something wrong the day after her cat got a routine enema at the vet.
She literally didn't respond to anything. It was like she was dead. She was having kidney failure and she had a massive infection.
The infection eventually spread to 2 legs. Moore filed a complaint against Dr. Mohammed Takeden, a veterinarian with offices in Arlington and Cambridge, for Clover's problems and for ignoring her concerns.
He said, oh, no, don't worry about it, blah, 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 everything's fine.
So Moore was shocked when the State Board of Registration in Veterinary Medicine dismissed her complaint, and when she learned she wasn't the first.
One of the things I found out was that Dr. Takeden had been investigated 13 times.
Actually, Team 5 Investigates has learned Takeden has been reported to the board a total of 15 times since he was licensed in 1981.
We are not going to hurt you.
Complaints against him allege a pattern of incompetence, but the board dismissed all but one and put him on probation back in 1995. Then last year, board members fined him for improperly storing and using outdated medication.
Should a veterinarian that has more than a dozen complaints against him still be practicing?
That's very worrying. I would be concerned with a veterinarian who had that many complaints.
Susan Weinstein is the executive director of the Massachusetts Veterinary Medical Association.
What's typical in terms of the amount of complaints?
A veterinarian can expect 1 or fewer complaints at the Board of Registration, the licensing board, during their professional career.
Team 5 Investigates found there are dozens of vets with a lot more than that. Our review of state records showed 65 of them with at least 5 complaints in their career. And one of the doctors has been reported to the board 17 times.
Would you ever take a pet to a vet that had that many complaints?
What would make me uneasy is knowing that somebody had discipline issued against them, not a complaint.
George Weber, who oversees the Board of Registration in Veterinary Medicine, says most of those vets, 7 out of 10, have been disciplined at least once.
We have inspected Dr. Takeden twice in the last 4 years, and once we found violations, another time we didn't. We are actively monitoring them.
However, those are not surprise inspections, and critics say the board's inaction isn't a surprise either.
Why aren't vets being held accountable?
I think their window of what they're accepting as acceptable care might be a little wider than what the acceptable care standard is.
Could we just go over some of the years' worth of complaints against you?
No.
No?
No, you have to talk to my attorney first.
But Takeden's attorney refused to let his client be interviewed.
How does Dr. Takeden explain why he has 15 complaints against him?
Oh, I think it's easy to make a complaint. Dr. Takeden uses the procedures that qualified doctors use in this state, and he's never had his license suspended.
Critics of the board tell Team 5 that's exactly why they're so concerned.
If the Board of Licensing determines that the case ends, that's it. There is no other place to go.
So what can you do to make sure your vet's a good one? Well, for starters, don't rely solely on the board's website. They don't list the number or nature of the complaints against veterinarians. And when they do take action against someone, they don't detail why the person's been disciplined. The state told us they have no plans to change that. For Team 5 Investigates, I'm Sean Kelly.